In our lesson today, we're going to be investigating word problems that involve percentages and money. And there's a few different areas that we're going to investigate. And the first of those is called a discount. You, as the consumer, pay the original price, which is called the retail price. A discount is money that you subtract from the original price. Okay, so if there's a sale, all right, we call that a discount. The amount of money that you get to save, the amount of discount, you subtract that from the retail price in order to figure out what the sale price is going to be. You find the discount by knowing the rate of discount. Okay, the rate of discount is going to look like a percentage. When we use our discount equation, which you can see underneath, we're going to change that percentage into a decimal. Your equation will be the same each time for a discount problem. All right, discount equals a percentage of the original price. The discount is the part that you get to save. The original price, the retail price, is the whole value. And again, your rate of discount is your percent, which we will then convert into a decimal. The sale price, once again, the way that you find the sale price, you take the original price and you subtract off the discount. And so if we take a look at this example, we have a Yankee jersey. The original cost is $89.95. Now, they're not selling, so for obvious reasons, the Yankee jersey is going to be 35% off. We need to know what the sale price is going to be. In order to calculate how much the sale price is going to be, I have to first calculate the discount. And again, I'm going to start by writing the discount equation, which says that the discount is a percentage of the original or retail price. Okay, so reading through, I can see here that the discount is 35%. I'm going to convert that into a decimal first. 35% is equal to 35 hundredths, so I'm going to record that for my rate. And they gave me the original price rate here of $89.95. And that means we're going to calculate how much the discount is. So I'm going to use D for discount. The variable is alone on the left-hand side, which means on the right-hand side, all I have to do is multiply. So I'm going to use my calculator, and I'm going to type in 35 hundredths times $89.95. And when I do that, I get the decimal 31 and 4,825 ten-thousandths. Okay, so that's what I get when I do the multiplication. Now, discount is money that you save. So your amount of discount has to be a dollar amount. This number right here cannot be our answer because it doesn't look like money. It has too many decimal places. So we're going to take this number and we are going to round it to the nearest hundredth. Right now, it looks like it's 48 hundredths. We check the thousandths place, which we see a 2. That's not enough to round us up, so we're going to keep 31 and 48 hundredths as our discount amount. So we're going to say that the discount equals $31.48. Now that I know the discount, I can figure out what the sale price is going to be. Remember, to get the sale price, all you do is take the original price, which was $89.95, and you subtract off the discount, the amount of money that you save. When we go ahead and do that subtraction, we're going to end up with 58 and 47 hundredths, which means that the sale price is $58.47. Okay, so start by finding out how much the discount amount is, and then you're going to subtract the discount from the original price to get your sale price. In our second example, we're told that a new version of the iPad is coming out. The old iPad regularly costs $499. There's a 30% off sale in the store to get rid of the older version, so we're going to figure out what the sale price is for the older version. So first, before we can get the sale price, I need to know how much the discount is, so I'm going to start with the discount equation. Discount equals a percentage of the original price. Okay, the discount percentage, the rate of discount right there is 30%. 30% written in decimal form is going to equal 3/10 or 30/100. They're the same thing. I'm going to put 3/10. And the original price right there is $499. And I am again calculating D, the amount of discount. The variable is all alone on the left, so on the right, I'm just going to go ahead and multiply. Type in your calculator 3/10 times $499. And that gives you 149 7/10. Okay, remember, money has 2 decimal places, so we're going to add a 0 on there. So the discount, in this case, equals $149.70. Now to get the sale price, we're going to take the original $499 and subtract off the discount, which was $149.70. And when you do that, you end up with 349 30/100. So we can say that the sale price is $349.30. In example 3, we're told that a ski jacket originally sold for $90. The discount was $15, so we need to figure out what is the rate of discount. What is the rate of discount? So let's start with the discount equation. Discount equals a percentage of the original price. Okay, this time the rate of discount isn't given. That's what we're looking for. So we're going to put R for the rate. They tell us that the original price of the ski jacket was $90. And they tell you right here the discount was $15. So that's what we're going to put here for the amount of discount. So we have to figure out R, the rate. R is on the right side of the equal sign. It's being multiplied by 90. So I'm going to have to divide by 90 on the right in order to get R all by itself, which means I need to divide the left by 90 as well. On the right-hand side, 90 divided by 90 is 1, leaving us with R. In your calculator, you'll type in 15 divided by 90. And this should be a decimal that looks familiar to us. We get 16/100, but if you look at your calculator, notice that the 6 repeats on forever. So we're going to put a bar over that 6. And now we're going to take this decimal and we're going to convert it into a percentage. Okay, so remember, the decimal point is going to move once, twice to the right, so it's going to say 16. All right, but remember, after this 6, there's a whole bunch of other 6s, so it's going to be 16 6/10 repeated percent, which is better known as 16 2/3%. Okay, so we found the rate of discount. We can say the rate of discount is 16 2/3%. In example 4, they tell us that the price of a hairdryer has been reduced by 40%. If it was reduced by $10, then they want to know what was the original price. What was the original price? So let's go ahead and start by writing discount equals a percentage of the original price. Okay. The percentage given, the percentage was 40%. 40% written in decimal form is going to be 4/10 or 40/100. I'm going to go ahead and write 4/10. And it says that we are looking for the original price, and it was reduced by $10. This amount that you saved is the discount. So 10 is the discount, and the original price is what we're looking for. So we're going to use a variable, but I'm not going to use O because O looks like a 0. So if I think about my regular percent equation, this is in the spot where the whole would be recorded. So I'm just going to use W for the whole. Okay, so 10 equals 4/10 times W, which in this case is going to be the original price. To get W all by itself, all right, W is on the right-hand side and it's being multiplied by 4/10, which means I'm going to have to divide by 4/10 on the left, or on the right rather, and then do it on the left. On the right-hand side, 4/10 divided by itself is 1, leaving us with W. And on the right side, on the left side, if you do 10 divided by 4/10 in your calculator, you end up with 25. So we're going to go ahead and say that the original price of the hairdryer was $25. Okay, so read the questions carefully, fill in the pieces that you know. All right, in this case, we were looking for the whole value, which was the original price, and we came up with an original price of $25. The next area that involves money and percentages is going to be with taxes. And here's our tax equation that we're going to use every time. Tax is a percentage of the subtotal. A tax is a part of your purchase that will be added onto the price. The tax does not belong to the store owner, though. It belongs to the town, the county, and the state governments. Okay? Your process is going to be the same. The first thing that you have to do, if necessary, is add your purchases. That'll give you your subtotal, which we need here in the equation. All right, once we know our subtotal, then we can set up that tax equation. And remember, at the end, tax gets added onto the price. Remember, with money, oftentimes when we do these calculations, we don't get a decimal that can represent money. Money always has to be rounded to the nearest penny, which is to the nearest hundredth. So let's take a look at our example here. All right, you go to Crossgates and you buy 3 items, a sweater for $29.95, jeans for $56.95, and sneakers for $75. The tax rate of Albany County is 8.5%. So we want to know, how much will you pay with tax? Okay. Before we can get the total price, we have to know how much the tax is. And before we can get the amount of tax, we have to know what the subtotal is. So we're going to start by adding up our 3 items. So if you punch those 3 numbers into your calculator, you should end up with a subtotal of $161.90. Okay, this is our subtotal that we will use to help calculate the tax. So now for the amount of tax, we're going to write the tax equation. All right, up above, remember it says that tax is a percentage of the subtotal. So let's write that in. Tax is a percentage of the subtotal. And the percent of tax given right here is 8.5%. That's also known as 8 5/10%, which we will now turn into a decimal, move the decimal point back once, twice to the left, and that's going to give you 85 thousandths. So that's going to be our tax rate in decimal form, 85 thousandths. And for the subtotal, we just calculated that right here, $161.90. We are looking for T, which is the amount of tax. Notice T is all by itself on the left. So to get T, all we're going to do is multiply on the right-hand side, 85 thousandths times $161.90. And if you punch that into your calculator, you're going to get 13 and 7,615 10,000ths. Now, remember, tax is money. So again, this number can't be the amount of tax. We have to take that number and round it to the nearest hundredth. It looks like 76 hundredths. The thousandths place is a 1, which isn't enough to round us up. So we're going to keep it at 13 and 76 hundredths. So we now know that the tax is going to be $13.76. Now that we know the amount of tax, we can get the total price. Remember that tax gets added on to the subtotal. So we're going to take the subtotal of $161.90. We're going to add on the tax of $13.76. And this is going to give us 175 and 66 hundredths. So we can say that the total price is $175.66. Tax gets added to the subtotal. In the next example, we're going to look at a discount and tax question. All right, a lot of times stores will have a sale. All right, so their items won't be the regular price, they're going to be on sale, and then with that sale price, you still have to pay tax. Remember that you calculate tax on the amount that you pay. It's always important to remember that. All right, so in example 2, you want to buy a bike, but you wait for it to go on sale. A bike for $219 goes on sale for 15% off. We want to know, what is your total cost going to be, including a 7% sale tax? Okay, so in order to get the total cost, we have to know how much the tax is. But in order to know how much the tax is, we have to know how much the subtotal is. But in order to get the subtotal this time, remember there's a discount. We're not paying all $219 because there's a 15% discount. So we have to start by finding the amount of discount. So the discount equation says that discount is a percentage of the original price. Okay, we know the discount percentage here is 15%, which as a decimal is 15/100ths, so our rate in decimal form is 15/100ths. And we know the original price was $219. We're calculating how much the discount is. The variable's alone on the left, so to get the amount of discount, we're going to multiply on the right 15/100ths times 219. And when we do that, we get 32 85/100ths. Okay, so the discount equals $32.85. Now that we know the discount, we can figure out what the subtotal is going to be, or the sale price. Remember, in order to get the sale price, what you need to do is take the original price, which in this case was $219, and you subtract off the discount, which was $32.85. When you do that, you're going to end up with a sale price of $186.15. This sale price here is now your subtotal. That's how much you're going to have to pay before tax. So now that we know the subtotal, let's calculate how much the tax is going to be. The tax equation says that tax is a percentage of the subtotal. And we know the tax rate, they gave us a tax rate, all right, for tax, it's 7%. 7% written in decimal form is 7/100ths. So for our tax rate in decimal form, we're going to record 7/100ths. The subtotal now is the sale price, which we calculated here, $186.15. And the tax, T, is what we're trying to calculate. All right, the variable's by itself on the left. To get the amount of tax T, we're going to multiply 7/100ths times $186.15. And when you do that in your calculator, you get the decimal 13 305/10,000ths. But again, remember, tax is money, so we have to round this to the nearest hundredth. It looks like 3/100ths. That zero in the thousandths place definitely isn't enough to round us up. So our tax amount is going to end up being $13.03. Okay, so now that we know the amount of tax, now we can figure out the total price. Okay, remember, for the total price, you take the subtotal, which was our sale price of $186.15, and we add on the tax, which was the $13.03, and that will give you a total price of $199.18. Okay, so in a question where there's a discount and a tax together, this is the process that you have to follow. Calculate the amount of discount first. Once you know the amount of discount, subtract that from the original price to get the sale price. That number becomes your subtotal, which you can use to calculate your tax, all right? And then once you know the amount of tax, you add that to the subtotal, which was the sale price, and you will then know what the total cost is. Another area that involves money and percentages is called gratuities. Another name for a gratuity is a tip. All right, a gratuity is a tip given to a waitress or a waiter or a service person in thanks for good service. A tip is a percentage of the bill, so that means that the gratuity is a part of the bill. Okay, and so if you look at the gratuity or the tip equation right here, tip equals a percentage of the original bill. The tip is in the part section of the percent equation. Tip equals a percentage of the original bill. Now, just like with tax, a tip is added onto the price that you pay. So in our example, it says that Mary went to dinner and spent $36. The tax is 7.5% of the bill, and she would like to leave an 18% tip. How much does she spend in all? Okay, so her dinner bill came to $36, but we have a 7.5% tax we need to figure out and an 18% tip that we need to figure out. And once we know both the tax and the tip, we can get the total price. Let's start with the tax. We know the tax equation. Tax is equal to a percentage of the subtotal. And they told us for the tax rate, it was 7.5%, which is the same as 7 5/10%. Move that decimal point 2 times to the left, and that's going to give you 75 thousandths in decimal form. So that's our tax rate in decimal form. The subtotal, all right, her bill was $36. And we're calculating T, how much tax that is going to be. So in order to get the value of T, the tax, we're going to multiply 75 thousandths times 36. And when you punch that into your calculator, you get 2 70 hundredths, okay? Your calculator probably says just 2 7/10, but remember, money needs 2 decimal places, so we put a 0. So for the tax, we end up with $2.70. Next, we need to figure out how much the tip is going to be. The tip equation says that the tip is equal to a percentage of the bill. We were told right here that they want to leave an 18% tip. 18% written in decimal form is 18 hundredths. So that's the rate in decimal form, 18 hundredths. And in order to calculate the tip, you always use the original bill. We're not going to add the tax yet, okay? If you added the tax and then calculated the tip, not only would you be tipping the waiter or the waitress, but you'd also be tipping the government, and you don't want to do that. So only tip off of the original bill, which in this case was $36. We're going to figure out how much the tip is going to be. Now, I'm not going to use T again because T I used for tax. Another word for tip is gratuity, so I'm going to use G for gratuity. The variable's by itself, so all we need to do to get G, the gratuity, the tip, is multiply 18 hundredths times 36. And in your calculator, you get 6 48 hundredths. So the tip equals $6.48. Now that we know the tax and we know the tip, we can get the total price by adding everything together. So her bill was $36, and the tax was $2.70, and the tip was $6.48. We're going to add those three numbers together, and that's going to give us a total cost of $45.18. So that's the total amount that Mary spent in all. Okay, so remember, for tax and tip, you're calculating both of those amounts off of the $36 original bill. Do not add the tax before you calculate the tip, otherwise you won't get the total price correct.